5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good morning. I don't know why it feels like forever since we've done a devotional.
Really?
Yeah, it feels like weird.
Why do my ears look real pointy? I look like a leprechaun.
I don't know.
Look. Don't I?
I've never seen a leprechaun.
My ears look real big.
Or am I looking at one?
Babe.
You asked me, and I've never seen a leprechaun.
Look. Look at my ears.
I've seen a Muppet.
Babe, look at my ears.
I'm looking at
Look at my ears.
Look at my ears, little puppet.
Good morning, guys.
You
guys are laughing at my ears right now, aren't you?
It is Sunday night for us. Monday morning for you guys. And every time I see someone wearing the cross, it's nothing compared to the one Louis was wearing at church.
You gotta wear your pulpit around your neck.
Okay. Oh, see that cross right here? This really big one? Louis hand makes those. Mm-hmm. He made a huge one at the church, right? So it's a cross, but really the cross part is made out of a giant S.
But the one he was wearing was almost like as big as this one.
Yeah, he walked into service wearing one as a necklace, like from his chest down to his belly button. And I had to do a double take.
Me too. I looked at it and I was like...
And I yelled across the sanctuary, "Is that a cross, Louis?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm going to have 21 of them." Something like that.
That's pretty cool.
And I was like, okay, that's tight. You do you, man.
You do you.
Yeah, so...
He's carrying his cross.
Literally.
Yep.
Yeah, Louis is a cool brother, man.
He sure is.
He gifted us that one. And then there's literally a huge one taller, like it's an 8-foot cross with that shape.
Yes,
and
for the church.
And he does them by hand, every single one of them. Yeah. It has been an insane weekend.
Sorry.
Where do I begin?
Oh, man.
I don't know where to begin. Well, actually, I do know where to begin.
We got 3 hours of sleep.
Friday night. Friday night. Mm-hmm. Woke up Saturday morning. The guys at the gospel mission. Is that a cat on the camera?
Yeah, on top of the van, huh?
Wow, I feel like I'm being punked right now by a cat.
Sorry, guys. We were able to see a glimpse of a cat on top of the van.
There was movement on the camera back of the church, and a little screen pops up with a cat on the hood, almost looking at the camera like, yeah, what?
Anyways, so
I try to get out, and they pull me back in. What?
Then go back to the gospel, the guys from the
gospel. Guys from the gospel mission. Those guys are a huge blessing. They said anytime we needed help, to ask them, and we asked for help because we have a shed. We have a shed in back of the church that needs to be put together. We got it at Costco, and it's like about 2 million pieces. And so...
Literally.
Yeah, so I get up at 6 in the morning, get ready, pick them up by 9, and man, whew, that was some work. Pastor Al showed up, Joe showed up, Randy showed up for a little bit, from the Merced group. Man, and then it was hot because we're on pavement, So, man, that was the all-day mission. At the same time that was going on, what was going on here?
We had our first youth and young adults gathering event, and Lorena and Armando Iniguez were here with all the youth, so they brought all the youth in the van. And some of them actually came from further, like from Sacramento, Fresno, and they Hanford, yeah, they made their way over here.
Hanford's 2.5 hours away, guys.
So they made their way all the way over here, and we had a blast, guys. I know Melodia really wanted to be here with me on Friday, and our prayers go out to Melodia and her family, because on her way here she was gonna spend. She was on her way here on Friday morning, and no, on Thursday morning, wasn't it?
No, Friday.
Friday morning? Yeah, she was on her way here on Friday morning, and as she was driving here, she received a call that her grandson had passed away in his sleep. And he was young, guys. He was a young adult.
21.
21 years old.
So actually everything started busyness before Saturday.
Yeah. So...
but yeah, her grandson, please keep her in your prayers.
Absolutely.
And the family.
Yeah, we send our loves and our love and our prayer to you and your family, Sister Melodia, because I know you're watching this. So you guys all just keep her and her family in prayer. And so that day we became busy, and I know she wanted to be here, but there was a lot going on, guys. Yeah. We had a house full of youth, a lot of food, a lot going on, and still on top of that, I had to get food over to you guys at the church by between 12 and 1 o'clock. I had ordered food for all the men over there. So once I had everything situated here and all the youth got here, I was like, all right, guys, I got you guys situated. See you later. I had to go deliver food over to the men over here. Went to go deliver food, raced back over here, and we started playing games, and I started, helping them host over here. And then Lydia, you came back with Lydia and Al.
Yeah, so I came back with Lydia and Al after we were finally... Sorry. After we're finally done with the storage, locked everything up, put everything away, threw trash away, picked up, Al was with me, picked up Sister Lydia, his wife, headed back over here, and started fellowshipping again. All this time, I didn't have a sermon. I was on 3 hours of sleep.
I hadn't practiced anything.
3 hours of sleep, working on the storage. Coming back here, the house is full of young people, and then we have visitors, and so we start fellowshipping for a few hours again. Finally, the evening ends. I tell Sharon, I said, listen, in a very nice way, like, I need no distractions. I need to get on this thing. And not only that, but I had to work on a flyer and the PowerPoint. And last, I worked on the sermon. Guys, my sermon... It was late. I was tired. I'm going to show you my sermon. So... Okay. Hopefully, this might be too bright. Let me bring it down. Maybe that's better. You see that? Okay. It looks like those are sermon notes. Right? That's my sermon right there. That's it. You know what that is? Scriptures. I wrote on top the life of Jesus part 2. I wrote Luke 4, 1 through 21. And then end of sermon, Matthew 21, 1 through 9. And I tell her, I was like, yeah, I'm done with the sermon. She was, already? I'm like, yeah. I was tired.
Yeah.
I was tired.
He was tired. He was red. His nose was red. His
Still
cheeks
is.
were red.
Still is. I was tired, and I'm like, Lord, I can't think. I said, so I'm going to I put that passage, second passage, beginning, end. You're going to have to speak, and you're going to have to speak. So we had service this morning, and...
It was late, guys. It was late, We had to stay up, and I had to clean and put away food and do a lot, and he got a lot done. And it was really late. It was, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. So then we get up again, have service. I believe it was received well, and had a great time, great worship. And then, round 2. Usually after service, we go eat somewhere.
Yeah, we do. But we had leftover food, and I wanted to share that leftover food with people. We're not going to eat all this leftover food here by ourselves and everything. So I told, several people at the church, I'm like...
Kind of last minute, guys. So don't, if you're watching and you're from House of Rest, don't be like, where's the invite?
Yeah.
No, it was kind of like
whoever was there at the end, and I would just happen to be like, hey, do you guys want to go eat some leftover food?
Yes.
Do you want to go eat some leftover food? Do you want to go eat some leftover food? And they're like, sure. And I'm like, all right, let's go. And whoever I saw towards the end when I was still there at the end, we just got in our cars and we just came to the house, and we ate a lot of leftover food from the youth.
So we had a few more hours of fellowship. Everyone barely just left not too long ago. I set up the lights, and here we are.
Yes.
Exhausted, tired. My legs hurt. And what?
It was really fun though. You know what we did too? We did some trivia questions. We did some Bible trivia questions, which was really fun. And they were like, man, we got to do this again.
Yeah.
But we had a chance to really even talk about ministry and just fellowship and just really laugh. And I think sometimes we need that,
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And David made us some really cool cappuccinos.
Yeah, but I didn't warm the milk up enough.
Yeah, he'll get better at it, guys.
So we're going to read this verse. Matthew 10:27. Normally I really like the way the Message words it. I'm not sure if I'm happy with it. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
But
I'm curious to see the way it says it there.
Yeah, Matthew 10:27. In the words of Jesus, he says this. Whatever I tell you in the dark, speak in the light. And what you hear in the ear, preach it on the housetops.
So mine says in the Message, eventually everything is going to be out in the open. And everyone will know how things really are. So don't hesitate to go public now.
Read the Amplified.
Amplified?
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the Amplified says. The Amplified is another... I really like the breakdown of the Amplified Bible. It gets each verse and amplifies it. Gets a lot of the Greek definitions
27?
of it. Yes.
Okay, 27. What I say to you in the dark, privately, tell it in the light publicly. And what you hear whispered in your ear, proclaim from the housetops to many people.
Amen. So this is the Lord Jesus talking here. And a lot of you maybe ask, like, how does God speak to you? And people say that. I say it a lot. Preachers say it. Pastors say it. Evangelists say it. They're like, oh, the Lord spoke to me. And I think sometimes we say it where we don't define what that means. Mm-hmm. And you have a lot of new Christians or new believers, and they're like, what do you mean? How does the Lord say it to you? Like, is
it audible?
Yeah.
Is it, how does he, a lot of the times do they think, is it audible? Is it internally, or how, they wonder.
Yeah. And the best way I like to put it, well, that I've heard and learned and received was from the Bible college I went to, is that God speaks in a spontaneous voice. You wake up and somebody pops in your head to pray for them. You pray for them. You're doing one thing and then you hear something else. It's a spontaneous voice, and we basically operate out of three voices: our own voice, the enemy's voice, and God's voice. And unfortunately, if we don't learn to listen to those, most of the time we think it's us.
Is it safe to say that a spontaneous voice can be a thought?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a thought, spontaneous thought, yeah.
Because I think people can be like, well, what's a spontaneous voice?
Yeah.
So it's the thought.
Exactly.
The thought process, okay.
It's a spontaneous thought.
Okay.
A good way to test it, honestly, and it goes I think God, so a lot of you took my suggestion and you're watching the series I did on hearing God's voice. There's a few of you that started watching them. I see you're commenting. But basically it's like this, is that write down what you feel God is telling you, because you have a lifetime to discern what you, once it's written down. It's like taking a picture of something that, let's say you're passing by something and it's way too quick, but if you take a picture, you can analyze that picture for the next 30 years if you want. And you get that thought and you write it down. Don't think about it. Don't even think, because you can think all you want once it's written down. That's a good way to start to learn to hear, to tune your ears to hear what it is that God is saying to you. Because a lot of times the enemy speaks to you and you think it's you actually. And if you really think about it, it's a third person. Like you think like bad of yourself. You're like, man, I'm nothing. I'm worthless. You think you heard it like that, but if you really tune in, it's a third person saying you're worthless. You're not worth nothing. And a lot of people don't catch that.
Yeah.
Why would you hear thoughts like that? Because it's not you.
Yeah.
It's some other outside entity that is feeding those thoughts to you so subtly that you think it's your thoughts. And it's not. It's actually something else. So if the enemy can speak like that to you, then obviously God can speak to you. He can speak to your heart. That's why the scripture says, whatever voice you obey, you become a slave to it. And a lot of times we become slaves of that. That's why we get chained up in feeling worthless or feeling less than or feeling, because we obey that voice. We hear that voice and we obey it, and we become a slave to it.
Yeah. But
God speaks. I like what he says. Jesus says it right there. So somebody can say, well, is that ain't scriptural? Well, that is. Jesus just said it. He says, I speak to you what I speak to you in the dark.
And that's why when it says your thoughts are my thoughts, right?
No. That's something else. Because remember, he says, your thoughts are not my thoughts. My ways are above your ways.
Are above.
Yeah.
But that means that what he says are good things of you.
Yeah. Well, what he's saying, right? Well, first of all, he's saying something different there, but I'm not sure if this is what you meant. His thoughts and his ways are always going to be different than ours.
Yes.
So, like, when we hear a thought, we're like, I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you're...
Yes, because they're good things of us.
Yeah, like... And that's why he says...
They're better things than what...
Yeah. Yes. That's why, guys, I was tired... And I'm just like, I'm not even going to try to write a sermon. I'm exhausted. I'm not even going to try. I'm 3 hours of sleep. If I try to write a sermon, it's going to be whack.
Because you wouldn't have been able to have...
No.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, God, Lord.
His way superseded.
Yeah, just give me a word, Lord. I mean, God, you know my heart. I mean, we're at the church. I was trying to build this thing and I'm tired. But just give me a word. And that's what he says. He goes, what I speak to you in the dark. Speak it out in the light.
Yeah.
And what I whisper in your ear, preach it on the rooftops.
Yeah.
So I think that a perfect example of that was today's sermon. And to be able to, don't get me wrong, the longer I minister and preach, the less I try to even involve me. I try to get me out of the way.
Yeah.
But I don't want that to come off wrong, because God doesn't make robots out of us. If we're funny people, we're going to preach funny. If we're serious, we're going to preach serious. We don't turn into robots for God. He operates through our personalities.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I say to get me out of the way, I don't mean to get the personality of David out of the way. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is any thoughts that are not aligned with God, get them out of the way, And he does, and that's why he says, what I whisper in your ear, preach it in the rooftop. So anyways, to come back to what we're saying to those that maybe don't know how God talks to you, has he talked audibly to people? Yes, he has. Is that a normal thing? No, it's not. At least, and maybe, and I can't speak for every Christian in the world, but most believers I talk to ourselves.
I think he speaks to us through others.
Mm-hmm.
He speaks to us through situations, circumstances.
Yeah.
He speaks through us through, like when I said through others, sometimes, a person can come with a word, know. There can be so many ways that the Lord speaks to us.
If somebody serves God by default, they're speaking for the Lord. If somebody is not serving God by default, they're speaking for Satan. Yeah. God can speak to you through a song.
Yes.
He can speak to you through the waves as you sit at the beach. He can speak to you in a vision and in a dream. Yeah. He can speak to you in a still small voice. He can speak to you like you literally almost feel like he's speaking to your very soul. That's how he speaks. Yeah. And the quicker we learn to quiet the noise of life, the quicker you will realize that he's always speaking. He doesn't stop. Yeah. He doesn't stop. And he has spoken from the beginning. Since he said, let there be light. And he's never stopped. And so really the question is, the ball's in our court. When are we ready to listen? Yeah. That's an exercise I took, that course, How to Hear God's Voice, or it's called Communion with God 101. And that was the first course I had to take in Bible college. And the Bible college was very bold, because they're like, if you're not hearing the Word of God, you have no business taking any of the other courses. Because every course after that is the voice of God, ingrained and weaving through every single course after that. And I think that was important. So like those first few months of taking that course, was just tuning in, and sometimes I want to do that course again. Yeah. That's why I like teaching it.
I'll do it with you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I like to do it because it puts you in a place, man, like it's a trip, because once you get in that place, like have you ever gone to a gym and at first it's awkward, second day, third day, and then all of a sudden a week later you're like, hey, it just comes naturally. You just kind of get in the gym and you get your water and you do your thing.
When you go cycling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. Once you get into this, like you just start hearing God, and all of a sudden, boom, it's like it becomes clear, and he's just constantly talking to you. Yeah. And you will notice when you're in that, like you're tuned in. So somebody calls you that's hurting, or somebody comes at you at church and wants to talk, all of a sudden you feel like nothing blocking the words of God, and it just flows out, and that's why I like to teach it. I go to the book often, because sometimes I start feeling like the pipe gets clogged.
Yeah.
And but yeah, man, he says that these are words of Jesus. He says, what I whisper in the dark, what I say in the dark, speak it out in the light. So that means when he speaks something to us, I just thought of this. He's saying, when I speak something to you, you're supposed to speak it out. Think of that. He goes, what I whisper in your ear, preach it on the rooftops.
Don't hoard it.
So that means when he speaks to us, that sounds like we're mandated to speak out what he speaks in. That's what that sounds like to me. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Share it.
We got to share what he says to us, and I think that's why fellowship's important. If you do a daily devotional, if you read a passage every day, it's like God is whispering something to you. Find somebody to share that with. Because God is only He's going to speak to you. That way you can speak to those of your circle of influence.
He's going to speak to you so that he can speak through you.
Dang.
Yeah.
She just dropped the mic right now. Say it again. Do you remember what you said?
Yes, he's going to speak to you so he can speak through you.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
We need a t-shirt that says that.
I know.
Yeah.
So guys, I'm tired. That's pretty much it. You know, just allow him to speak to you and share what he's speaking to you. Don't hoard it. You know, release it. Let it be released, you know, and by doing that, we're doing something he didn't suggest. He said, do it.
Yes.
He says, what I whisper in your ear. He didn't even say what I whispered in your ear, share it with one person. He says, what I whisper in your ear, shout it.
On the rooftops.
On the rooftops. That sounds
I
like...
love that song.
I know. I mean, I know that song is based off of that verse.
Yeah.
You know, so...
Yeah, go listen to that song, guys.
Oh, man.
Stop it.
Wow.
Stop it.
I'm trying, guys.
Go listen to that song, Rooftops.
All right.
All right, guys. We love you guys.
See you later.
Enjoy your coffee this morning. Love you guys. Bye.